All right, sweet. Flatline MMA podcast episode number 51. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. I just feel like every week we just keep talking about, more and more fights. They're getting better. Every card is just getting better and better each time. So let's just get right into this UFC Fight Island 5. Wow, we had some great fights on this card. We had some great friggin' knockouts. It's hard to believe some of these cards are, free fight nights because they have just been delivering on every aspect and making Saturday nights literally so awesome. So I kind of just want to jump right in. I think, the one that we need to talk about on the prelims, I think it's the talk of the MMA world. People are saying it could be the greatest knockout ever. It definitely locked in the knockout of the year. We had Joaquin Buckley taking on Impa. Oh my God, I just said his last name and now I forgot. Casagani, whatever. I don't know how to say. I just said it to you. I'm such an idiot. But Joaquin Buckley with, do you know what they're calling it? Like, what did they officially call that? Spinning heel kick? Like, what was it?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's never seen a knockout like it. He got his foot caught on the first kick, and then he jumped up spinning. It wasn't really like a heel kick. He hit him with like the flat part of the bottom of his foot and just nailed him perfect, just square in the face. That was absolutely insane. It put him completely out right away.
Absolutely insane. Like, I think it had the whole MMA world talking, like you said, really like kind of a movie-like knockout. You know what I mean? We've never seen anything like that before. And it was a great fight up until that point. And it's just Buckley found the opportunity. Believe it or not, the guy said that he trained that move before. He's like, obviously, I've never been able to pull it off in a fight other than tonight. And he just, I think, shocked everyone. Obviously, to see a fighter so skilled like Impa, who, is undefeated coming into this, really had a lot of momentum behind him. Just to see him get knocked out like that too, obviously devastating loss. Nothing you could do there, man. I don't think too many fighters on the roster could have taken that shot and not have went out cold like Impa did. And he's posting pictures afterwards saying, I respect Joaquin so much. And like, this is the fight game. It happens. I'll be back. Like, just crazy to think that like how much respect these guys had. They took a picture afterwards at the airport. Like, just awesome to see. But Joaquin Buckley definitely, took the MMA world by storm. I don't know what he ended up with the bonuses. I know Dana White said this deserves $200K in bonuses. You deserve all the bonuses. I think he, ended up with maybe $100K in bonuses, but I don't know if that's confirmed yet. But SportsCenter, top 10 knockout, definitely locked in the knockout of the year already. We had the Masvidal one, right? That took the whole world by storm. Now we got Joaquin Buckley. So obviously curious to see what happens in his next fight. I think he gained a shit ton of Instagram followers within, over the past weekend. So definitely gained a ton of popularity and, definitely a big name now for that middleweight division. So hopefully, maybe we'll see him get a big fight next. So we'll see there. And then on the main card, really some great fights on here. We had the Tom Aspinall knockout of Alan Badeau. Big heavyweight knockout. Tom Aspinall is a guy that, I think he works with Darren Till and all that stuff. So he's a guy that was said that to be kind of on the lookout, up and comer. So that was huge there. We had the Rothwell Tubara fight. Tubara, really, really solid decision win over, a vet like Rothwell who's fought everyone and their mother. So huge win for him there. And then we had the co-main event, which we knew this one was going to be fun. We had Edson Barbosa taking on Makwan Amirkhani. And this one was fun from the opening bell to the end of the third round, man. We saw kind of a, vintage Barbosa there. He was just kind of imposing his will. He had a few knockdowns there, but Amirkhani is just tough. And I think he definitely gave Barbosa a run for his money. But overall, I don't know. What did you think about the co-main event here?
Yeah, it was a good fight. I mean, Barbosa's looking good at 145. I didn't think, with how shredded he is at 155, I never thought he'd be able to take off another 10 pounds and make that cut, but he's doing it and he's able to perform. First round, he looked great. Second round, scored 2 knockdowns. And then third round, I think he got taken down and spent a lot of the round on his back. So maybe he lost that third round, but
Yep.
first and second were so dominant. Wouldn't say it was an easy win, but it was clearly his fight.
Yeah, and that definitely, taking a look at Barbosa's record, right? He was on a 3-fight skid. He just dropped down to featherweight, took on probably one of the toughest guys in the division, Dan Ige. Got that controversial, Ige got the controversial split decision there. I think a lot of people thought Barbosa won that. It was a robbery, right? So obviously, chip on his shoulder. You can't go on a 4-fight skid in the UFC. Everyone knows, what happens there. So I think definitely a huge win for Barbosa. And, he's always in big fights. The man has had some of the most, memorable fights in the UFC, memorable knockouts. So he's only going to climb that featherweight ladder. So curious to see kind of where the UFC books him next, what they want to do with him. But overall, like you said, he looked good. And I thought, kind of a vintage performance with the leg kicks. And his straight right looked beautiful. It had those 2 or 3 knockdowns. So he looked really good. So curious to see what the UFC does with him, but always an exciting fighter. Edson Barbosa, you're a beast. Congrats on the win. And let's get to the main event. I know me and you were looking forward to this one a lot. We had 2 of the top bantamweights in the world headlining here. Marlon Moraes, former title contender, taking on Corey Sandhagen. Both of these guys, coming off of, I know on the record, it says Marlon Moraes came off of a win over Jose Aldo. I think everyone thought, everyone really thought that, Jose won that fight. So, I consider that a loss. Even Dana White says he thinks Jose won. So we'll just say Marlon coming off a loss here, as well as Corey Sandhagen getting submitted in the first round by Aljamain Sterling in his last fight. So I think a lot of these guys had something to prove. One more win puts you right back into title contention there. And right, I don't think any of us expected kind of the outcome that happened there. We had Corey Sandhagen getting we'll talk about some spinning shit by Joaquin Buckley. Corey Sandhagen with some spinning shit of his own, knocking out Marlon Moraes in the second round. I trust me, that wasn't one of the outcomes I thought that was going to happen. So what did you think about this main event? And what did you think about Corey Sandhagen throwing some spinning shit?
Yeah, I mean, it was awesome. It didn't really go as I expected. I thought Marlon was going to come out hot, take the first couple rounds, and then kind of slow down. First round was pretty evenly contested, and I think Sandhagen even outstruck him.
Yep.
In that first round. But yeah, it comes out second round, that spinning heel kick catches him right on the top of the head and put him away. It was, I don't know, it was a pretty good performance considering, his last one with Aljamain. I think it was a good learning experience for him, and just made him train that much harder, and he looked incredible. I think Sterling deserves that shot, but even he said in the after fight interview, it was if they come my way and that opportunity presents itself, even though I think Aljamain deserves it, I'll take it. So I think with that performance, he definitely puts himself in the conversation. He has, he's got that performance backing him.
Yeah, and I think he's, it's kind of a weird cycle right now, right, in the bantamweight division, because you look and it's like, okay, Marlon Moraes knocks out Aljamain Sterling cold. Mm-hmm. Aljamain Sterling chokes out Corey Sandhagen, and then Corey Sandhagen knocks out friggin' Marlon Moraes. So it's just crazy how MMA math works, and rankings wise and all that stuff. And I agree 100%. I have no idea why they haven't booked Peter Yan versus Aljamain Sterling yet. Do I think there's a chance that Sandhagen could jump the line? No. I think Dana's just playing hard to get on this one. There's so many conspiracies on why Aljamain is not getting this shot yet, but that's the fight to make. But I think Corey now is in a position where he could probably sit out and fight the winner, to be completely honest. I think he earned that right. There's a ton of great bantamweight, fights that could take, but he's fighting, people ranked below him. So I don't think that's what he's going to do. But after that performance, man, and seeing him come back from adversity and losing in that first round to Aljo and coming in and taking a fight with a killer like Moraes, and not being afraid in there, put the pressure on him and, evidently getting a knockout like that over such a dangerous guy, a guy who, gave Henry Cejudo some trouble. I mean, that's impressive, man. So I'm curious to see, what he's going to do, if he's going to sit out, wait for that next title shot, or, is he going to go up against the guy? I know he really said the two guys, I think he called out Frankie, and then I think he called out, who else did he call? Did he call Dom Cruz? He might have called out Dom Cruz. But, I mean, him versus Frankie would be fun. I just don't get why he'd take that fight, to be completely honest. But, I mean, who knows? He might just be a gangster and pull a Frankie Edgar type move and be like, you know what, screw the title shot right now. I want to continue fighting. I want to keep this momentum going. So we'll see what happens there. But the bantamweight division now has a new kind of, we'll say number 2 contender, right? So we'll see what happens there for the title. Who knows? Maybe Dana's got something up his sleeve. He throws in Corey. Maybe Aljo's hurt or whatever the hell it is, what's going on. But you know how the UFC is. It's absolutely crazy. Great main event. No one expected that. If you were a betting man, I wouldn't have expected that, to be completely honest. So UFC Fight Island 5, another great card. Thank you again, Dana White. You're the fucking man. Continue to put on great shows on Saturday nights. So, and then let's just preview this weekend's. Really just wanted to do the main event here. UFC Fight Island 6. Oh, man, this is one of the most anticipated fight nights in a while. I know a lot of people have been waiting for this fight. Brian Ortega taking on the Korean Zombie Chan Sung Jung. This was a fight that was supposed to happen last December. Ortega had to pull out. Korean Zombie evidently fought Frankie Edgar. We all know what happens there. He destroyed Frankie Edgar. And there's a lot of bad blood here. These guys don't like each other. They, a lot of beef. Brian T. City slapped Korean Zombie's translator. It was crazy. These guys hate each other. I can't wait. Just a couple other notables just on this card real quick. We had Thomas Almeida fighting Jimmy Crute, who's kind of an up-and-comer in that light heavyweight division. Women's flyweight bout, Caitlin Chikagian taking on the former champion Jessica Andrade. And then we got a heavyweight up-and-comer, Cyril Gain. So this card's stacked. For a free fight night, this card is stacked. But to get back to Ortega Zombie, you really kind of got the tale of two tapes here. It's really like Zombie, who's good everywhere. Great strikers, great in the ground. We're talking about a guy that had twister submission. This guy is great on the ground. The people that are not looking at Zombie as someone who's a threat on the ground, you're absolutely crazy. And then you're taking on Brian T-City Ortega. I mean, they don't call him T-City for nothing. This guy there's black belt level, and then there's like high level black belt. And that's where Ortega comes in. You can't go to the ground with this guy. You're going to get your neck snatched. And I think that's kind of the biggest question here. We saw Ortega, who's coming off of a 2-year layoff from his title fight with Max Holloway, where we saw him absorb 287 significant strikes to his head. As tough as that man is, there's not a lot of people that could have taken that kind of damage. We don't know how he's going to be like in this fight. 2-year layoff, ring rust, God only knows. And you got a guy like Korean Zombie who has been pretty active, right? He's, coming off obviously the massive Yair fight, Renato Macano fight, Frankie Edgar fight. So I don't know. I mean, I'm so excited about this fight. I could talk about this for days. Kev, what do you think about this main event? And ultimately, who do you think is going to walk away as the winner? And as Dana White stated, they are the new number 1 contender to fight for the title next in the featherweight division.
I didn't know this was a contender fight. Yeah, like you said, it's that classic grappler versus striker type of fight. Who's going to impose their style on the other, their game plan on the other fighter. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Ortega in a while. He was undefeated for a really long time until he ran into Max Holloway. Um, yeah, I mean, don't know what he's been working on the past 2 years. Maybe he went back to the drawing board, start sharpening his striking and stuff. You really don't know how he's going to come back. You know his grappling's going to be good,
Yep.
his jiu-jitsu and all that. But he has to be prepared for the zombie because his striking's high level. He's got knockout power. He's really precise with his punches. As for who I choose, I think I'm gonna say zombie. I think because there's some bad blood there, there's gonna be a little bit of emotional investment on Ortega's side. I think he's gonna try to stand with him, and I think that would be a mistake. Um, like you said, he's incredibly durable, absorbed everything Max had to throw at him. But I don't know if Korean Zombie lands half as many punches as Max did. I think one of those is going to be a knockout punch. So I'm going to go with Zombie on this one, knockout.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Dude, I definitely think the 2-year layoffs gotta kind of come into play here, right? It's someone who, it's not like he's coming off a win and he's coming off a 2-year layoff here. He's coming off of an absolute beating, right? And that took away his undefeated record, right? That definitely takes away, some of your ego. And just to absorb that many punches, man. And like you said, right? All respect to Max Holloway, right? He's definitely not known for that, KO power, right? Like he puts people away, ton of TKOs on his record, right? Zombie puts people's lights out, man. He puts people. We saw what he did to, Frank Yeager. We saw what he did to Renato Moicano. Like the man has, like you said, a third of the punches, half of the punches that Max did. It's going to be a short night for Brian Ortega. But that said, I mean, if this goes to the ground, although, Zombie is very high level on the ground, I don't think there's anyone that matches up with Ortega in the UFC on the ground like that. He'll snatch your neck, and it's the matter of can Zombie get out of it? But I don't think there'll be an opportunity for this to go to the ground. I think Zombie's going to make I wouldn't say light work. I think it's going to be kind of very similar to the Holloway fight where he's piecing him up on the feet. He's going in for some shots. I think Zombie's going to stuff a lot. I don't think he's going to let this go to the ground. So I'm going to say Zombie as well. I think he's going to knock him out. Dude, what I'm so excited about, I can't wait to hear just vintage, just Zombie walkout to Zombie. It's just the greatest walkout in history. The man is one of the most likable fighters in UFC history, and he's so exciting. We've seen, although the fight with Yair didn't go his way, and it was one of the craziest knockouts in UFC history, still he's such an exciting fighter. Comes to blood every time. So regardless of who wins this one, this is like a main event that I know a lot of people had circled on their calendars all year. I'm so happy that they finally got this fight done. Because it's going to be huge. It determines, the number one contender here to fight Volkanovski, who's ever next in line. And I think now a lot of questions are going to be answered in the featherweight division. I think people are kind of moving away from, now Max should get the trilogy, and this fight happening is what the featherweight division needed. So obviously, hopefully they get to, fight, no COVID incidents, anything like that, knock on wood, but this one is going to be badass. If you don't know who Korean Zombie is, you're going to know on Saturday night. Second round knockout, Korean fucking Zombie. Let's fucking go. UFC Fight Island 6. Again, free fight night, ESPN Plus. Go watch that shit. This is a main event. If you didn't watch last week's, you're dumb. Please watch this week's. It is going to be fire. And then just some other kind of news. We got friggin' Mike Perry asking people to be in his corner. Darren Till stepping up saying, he'll do it. He's tweeting at people how much to throw in the towel, all this crap. So these two, I don't know what's going on. I just kind of want to see them fight. I think it'll be funny. We got Khabib. I wouldn't say talking all kinds of shit, but just being real, coming at McGregor saying he, if UFC offered him $5 billion, the entire company's ownership, he wouldn't do the Ultimate Fighter with McGregor because he doesn't want to give him exposure. He thinks he's a shitty guy. And then Khabib talking about Ferguson, saying he's done, all this stuff. My question to you, do you think Khabib has a better chance of fighting McGregor or Tony Ferguson? Like, what fight do you think would happen? What has the best or the better probability of happening? Because only one of those fights is happening. Would you rather see another Conor fight, or would you want to see Tony? But because it's hard now, because like after that beating he took from Gaethje, like I don't know. But I think that's a good question to ask: is which fight has the better chance of happening now with everything going on and Khabib coming out really saying he's not going to fight either of these guys, but I think the UFC wants Tony to happen. Obviously, the UFC wants Conor fight to happen. It generated millions and millions of dollars. So I guess which one has the better chance of actually happening?
I think if they got the McGregor Khabib fight to happen, that'd be like one of the biggest fights in history. The build up, everything leading up to that would be absolutely insane.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't think that Khabib, not that he doesn't want the fight, not that he's afraid to fight McGregor or whatever. I think that he's happy knowing that he got the win.
Yep.
Got it decisively. You know, he choked him out, got him to tap. I think he's happy with that. You know, I don't think money's going to entice him. I don't think, you know, the amount of fame or attention or whatever that second fight would bring, I don't think that's going to entice him at all. I think Khabib's really the one that's going to be driving this, like which fight happens. I think for him to feel comfortable as the GOAT in that division, he has to fight Ferguson. I mean, even though, you know, we talk about the MMA math, Gaethje beat Ferguson.
Yeah.
Stylistically, I think it's a really tough fight for Khabib to go up against Ferguson, and I think that's going to be more appealing to him, and I think that's a direction that he's probably going to want to go in.
Yeah. No, I agree. I was going to say the same thing. I don't think we'll ever see Khabib Conor again. I think Khabib doesn't want to give Conor that attention, and I think it eats at Conor every single day. And like that being said, do you think, you know, I still want to see the Tony fight 100%. I still think that could be Khabib's toughest fight. We'll see if he gets past Justin Gaethje. Obviously not overlooking that at all. But so obviously Khabib Gaethje's happening, you know, in a week, and we're going to review that all next week. I cannot fucking wait for that card. Depending on the winner, let's say Khabib wins. Does Tony need to take another fight to fight Khabib? Or do you think, like, if Khabib wins next week, let's maybe set something up? I don't, you know, Khabib doesn't really fight as often as that, but, you know, are we talking possibly Khabib Tony come, you know, early 2021 or something like that? Or do you think Khabib's just going to fight GSP and like maybe call it a career at 30-0 if that's what his plan is?
Yeah. Like I heard GSP pretty recently say that he doesn't think he can make the 155 weight class anymore. So that fight would have to happen at 170. And there's no signs of the UFC making a 160 or 165 pound division anytime soon. So I mean that's kind of a risk to go up in weight for the first time against one of the best people to ever do it in the sport. You know, I do think it's a fight that he wants though. So, but I don't know. I mean, you know, the last time that GSP fought was against Bisping. That had to have been, that was like 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I think it was the first card that they ever had in New York City, right?
It was the first. It was the second one. It was UFC 217. Yeah, the 205 was the first one. UFC 2. That was a 3 title fight night.
Yeah. I mean, it would be exciting. It would be nice, you know, to see that fight. It'd get a lot of attention. But I think the more competitive, the more, the one that cements his legacy, more in this division, he has to fight Ferguson.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just, he's already done everything he needs to in the sport. He won the belt. He's undefeated. He doesn't have to fight Ferguson, but I think that's going to be a question that everyone's going to ask. Once he's done and retired, everyone's going to wonder what would have happened between him and Ferguson.
The what if fight, man. It sucks. Yeah. It sucks. I know Dana White said he's willing to try this for the 6th time. And I do believe that the UFC would give him the shot, obviously coming off a loss. But coming off a loss to a guy like Justin Gaethje, who I think people forget that Tony Ferguson took that fight on short notice also and was preparing for a Sambo undefeated guy, like ground game, like not to make excuses for Ferguson, but I think people kind of overlook the fact that he trained a long time to fight Khabib, and he gets pulled out, and a nasty striker brawler comes in, and we all know what happened there. But I do think that the UFC has enough respect for Ferguson, just like they do for Jose Aldo, to give him a shot at Khabib coming off a loss. So if I'm Tony, don't do anything stupid. Let's see how this fight plays out next week. And then if the UFC offers it to you, take it. Take it, take it, take it. Don't take another fight. Don't take Chandler. Don't take Islam. Don't take that. That's it. Take the Khabib fight. Train your ass off. I want to see that fight happen, but couldn't agree more. To be honest, I'd rather see the Tony fight. I don't think a second Conor fight with Khabib is going to go any differently. I don't care if you're motivated McGregor or not. I just don't see. I think that's Conor's kryptonite. I think he beats everyone else. I think that's his kryptonite, man. I really believe that. Yeah. So, curious to see. We are a week away from UFC 254. That card is absolutely stacked, headlined by Khabib and Gaethje. We'll be talking about that next week.
Have you seen the promo for it yet?
Yes.
Oh my God, it's so good.
Chills. I literally have chills.
So
I have goosebumps just thinking about it right now. I'm so excited. We will preview that entire card because that is, going to be probably one of the best pay-per-views of the year. I think it's going to be, in terms of pay-per-view buys, we know Khabib brings in the numbers. So I think that's going to be up there in terms of pay-per-view buys. And I think a lot of questions are going to be answered there. Is Gaethje the guy to take out Khabib? We'll see. So anything else? Any other news? Anything we need to know?
No, that's all I can think of.
I think we're good. All right, guys. Thanks again. Click that subscribe button. We're growing. We're getting bigger. We're getting better. The content's getting insane. Our Instagram's blowing up. Thank you guys so much. If you need merch, we're actually going to be launching a new site soon with more stuff. We're going to be getting hats. We're going to be getting polos. We're going to be getting a lot more stuff. So we'll drop that link as soon as it comes out. Trifecta meals, CBD, Venom, anything you guys need, click the link below. Go to our link tree. Order shit. Help the Flatline boys grow. We're getting big, boys. Thank you so much. Spread the word, share our shit, like our posts, retweet, whatever you got. And until next time, Flatline MMA. Peace.